Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Healthy Tampa Bay podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kerry Reller. And today we have a very unique and special guest, Dr. Dave Bevirt. I'm so used to having a doctor on the podcast, but this is why Mr. Bevirt is super special because he's actually a property developer. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got into this?
Sure. Well, good afternoon, and please call me Dave. So, Dr. Reller, I was recruited to come down here 5 years ago from the Washington, D.C. market. My whole career has been in commercial real estate. And it was an opportunity that after visiting, going through the interview process and visiting Tampa on many occasions, we soon learned just how unique and incredible Tampa is. And I've had now, during the course of the past 5 years, the opportunity to work on this incredible development. And now you can see as you come down here and visit Water Street, just what has evolved as a result of our company's efforts. And a lot of what you're seeing is the result of Jeff's vision, Jeff Vinnick's vision. The capital behind the development is Jeff Vinnick, of course, in Cascade Investments, which is Bill Gates' investment fund. So we have a very strong capital backing. But I always say three things. It's the result of capital. Okay, so very strong capital. It's the result of vision, which is Jeff's vision, and it's timing. And if any one of those three was off a little bit or got a little wonky, maybe Water Street wouldn't look the same or have the success that we're having today. But it's because of those. And we get asked a lot about COVID, and COVID was really an inflection point for our development, really for Florida overall. Because when you go to the Tampa Bay Economic Development Council and you get the numbers from them, and this has been going on now for the past 3 to 4 years, we're getting into Florida somewhere between 800 to 900 move-ins per day into Florida. Now, that's everything from an infant all the way up to a retiree. But into Tampa Bay, it's about 120 to 130 per day. So it's that in-migration of talent and people that is resulting in this incredible growth that we're seeing here in Tampa. So that's how I got here. And I'll tell you, I've got 3 kids. One lives here, one in DC, and one in Indiana that will soon move here. My goal is to have all 3 of our kids here. My wife and I would be delighted. So.
That's awesome. I did read that you went to Purdue University and I went to Notre Dame. So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
my son went to Indiana University, so I went to IU.
Okay.
So still talking.
So. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Well, I'm super excited to hear more about Water Street and the development. And obviously, everybody is flexing to Florida. So this is, like you said, COVID, kind of a perfect time for this awesome development. Yep. So Water Street Tampa is the first WELL pre-certified neighborhood in the world. So what is the WELL community standard? What does that mean?
So the WELL community standard focuses on 10 things. It's air, it's water, it's nourishment, it's light, it's movement, it is materials, mind, community, sound, and thermal. Thermal meaning just comfort and warmth. So those are the 10 ingredients that really go into WELL, much of which we have now deployed within Water Street itself. So here's an example. Dr. Reller, have you come down to our farmers market? It's one Sunday every month. And if you haven't, I'm going to highly suggest you do. We have about 37 vendors that are displaying their wares of great food or whatever, but it's a farmers market. So nourishment is a big part of our community, and that's just part of it. Or if you've been to, I'll talk about community or movement. So come to Sparkman Wharf in the park, yoga on the park, or we do yoga. In fact, we've had also yoga on the wharf because it's connected. There's the wharf right there adjacent to Sparkman Wharf. So just yoga on the park, embracing the outdoors in a healthier environment. Community is really about everything we do in the way of programming for Water Street. If you were here during the Christmas holidays, we had the Christmas festival. So it's doing things like that. Now, light is automatic. I mean, if you look at our different buildings, that none of them are encumbered, meaning they're not contiguous, they're not adjoined by a party wall, so they're all freestanding. So they all have tons of natural light that are offered, whether it's the apartments, it's the hotels, or the office building. And then materials. I mean, we were very sensitive to the materials. Here's a good example. When you walk Water Street, and listen, it's summer in Florida, it gets hot, right? Mm-hmm. So we were very careful to curate light colored hardscape so that you're not creating heat zones in the district. And that's very important because they can have a big impact on somebody's health. And then one more is water. We have water stations throughout. I mean, so all those things combined go into the WELL pre-certified neighborhood. Now, we are the first WELL pre-certified neighborhood in the world. And now others are following suit. And we're very proud of that. And we've gotten a lot of recognition as a result.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an interesting example with the heat component. I'm trying to bring back to medical. So you picture this person that may be overheating or something, but like
Yep.
you said, you're using the right materials. But then once again, there's going to be a water station nearby so they
Yes.
can hydrate and everything like that. And I know there also are some safety parameters that are included with the well certification.
So one more thing, and this has to do with shade. So we've sourced over 500 mature live oaks, about 10-inch caliber, they're big. And that was intentional. Now we spent a lot more money on that, but the intent was to create shaded areas as part of this well neighborhood, because again, the heat factor, lighter materials on the surface and then creating shade with more mature trees. And so if you were planting young species, it'll take them 10, 15, 20 years to grow. So from a health and sensibility standpoint, it made a lot of sense. So you avoid those heat zones, if you will, creates, comforting shade. And it's just aesthetically, it's a better environment.
Yeah, and it's absolutely necessary in Tampa Bay to be having plenty of shade because it's just gets brutal out there. And then you don't want to be walking on like a concrete surface with that.
And for pets, so we have 3 dogs at home. There are tons of dogs at Water Street, and you have to think about not only the human factor, but our furry friend factor, and make certain that they are well hydrated and there's plenty of shade.
I don't have a dog personally, but I know in the parks near where I live, they have plenty of the pet water bowls and things. So that's great. So how does living in a well community like Water Street Tampa affect the residents and visitors?
So let me start with the visitors. I think there's a bit of curiosity about, well, what is a well neighborhood like? So I think it has generated a little bit of a buzz about, well, what makes Water Street Tampa different. And when we get them there, they can see what is so different about it. We're not the only mixed-use development in town. There's Midtown, and there's also Heights Union or Armature Works. And each one they can all celebrate their strengths and so forth differently. For us, for our visitors, we took a very broad brush approach to offering something that we hope is for everybody. Now, you can't satisfy everybody, but we knew that in a mixed-use environment, we need to offer a variety of different types of apartments. So that was important. We needed to offer multiple, hotel. We have roughly 1,400 hotel rooms or keys and about 1,300 apartment units at phase 1. And so there's a variety, whether it's from the 3.5-star Tampa Marriott Water Street to the 4-star JW to the 5-star edition. And the same with our apartments. It's from Astor all the way up to Heron, which is a bit more luxury. So for our visitors, there's something for everybody. But I'll get to the retail. That's what really attracts the visitors to our development is that, and I'll get back to with nourishment. We've been very careful to utilize locally curated owners and chefs versus going with national, which we could have easily, because we want to celebrate the fabric of Tampa and culturally that makes it so unique. And we're becoming a foodie town. So we've been very careful with the types of food offerings that we're offering, which is part of nourishment, is part of but also a great variety. And when you come to Sparkman Wharf, for example, we have the shipping containers. That's like incubator space for restaurants. We're offering just a very unique variety, but it's only a 1-year lease. So if the concept, we're not crazy about it. It just goes away after a year. If it's successful, we grow them and we put them into larger space within long-term within Water Street. So for our visitors, it's a combination of offering a real variety of everything from hospitality to occupancy to apartments to living to office space. But the retail is really the driver. It's about 5% of our phase 1 development, and it creates the vitality and the interest. Come down here for pre-game or pre-concert. There are thousands of people on the streets going to all of our restaurants and retail. Phase 2 will be less of a restaurant district, be more of a shopping district. So that's for the visitors. And then for the occupants, my son is the best example. I mean, he lives at Cora. He works at ReliQuest at 1001 in the office building. Dr. Reller, I'll tell you, it has changed his life. We sold his car 4 months ago. He didn't need a car. Now his girlfriend has a car, but he didn't need a car. So he's saving on insurance. He has the shortest commute known to man because he literally walks out one door and in the other. They love the lifestyle. They love meeting new people. They're going to all the restaurants. I mean, he's living his best life. Water Street is an opportunity. That's the byline. Water Street is an opportunity for somebody to live their best life.
I like that. How can I ask, just for audience, like how old is your son? Like where does he fit in his lifestyle?
He's 28 years old.
28. Okay.
Yeah, he's a young professional
Mm-hmm.
with a very steady girlfriend and a cat. They would borrow one of our dogs so that they felt like, they were part of this cool, chic, hip dog environment down here. And then they decided to get a cat because then they could leave, you can leave a cat longer than another dog. But the point is that he feels so fulfilled, healthy. I mean, it's a walkable environment. I'll digress. Part of our designing years ago, we looked at places like Las Ramblas in Barcelona. Have you ever been to Barcelona? Las Ramblas is this big, wide boulevard, and it's very activated. There are thousands of people on the street, and there's tons of shade trees. And that was a little bit of the inspiration for Water Street. So when you walk Water Street today, it is all that. It's people that are embracing a great environment. And listen, the weather's great here 8 months out of the year for the most part. So people want to be outside. And our sidewalks are very deep. They're 45-foot deep so that when you go to Boulogne, you can see this incredible outdoor, beautiful umbrellas and great French style seating. And so it's really embracing the outdoors.
And you had mentioned, like, when you were picking about the nourishment, like you were curating the different, I guess, people coming in there. And I really was wondering about that, like how you choose which, restaurant or whatever. So I like that you were able to kind of give them an opportunity. And then knowing that if it doesn't work out, then that's, something that can, like you said, go away. But I was wondering, is there any other focus towards like healthier food or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. We want to perpetuate a healthier lifestyle, right? And you can do that with nourishment, right? With better eating options or dining options. And that's exactly what we've done. Naked Farmer, which is this, you've eaten a Naked Farmer perhaps, or Kava is now open. I mean, these are all fresh ingredients. Kava's national, but Naked Farmer's local. So there's the difference there. But it's organic, fresh ingredients. And we want to perpetuate that for many of the restaurants. Now, do we have something for everybody? No, but we have an extraordinary variety. I think of our retail, about 170,000 square feet of retail. Over half of that are restaurants. And it's everything from Boulogne French to Pearl, which is Cameron Mitchell's new restaurant, to Pretalina, which opens in a couple months. That's Allison Adams and Blake Casper's new restaurant. It'll be more Portuguese, Mediterranean style. When you go to the Addition, the market is more what I'll call Amalfi Coast, Italian. Azure up top is Mediterranean, really good octopus, things like that. And then Lilac, I'm going to brag here for a moment. If you're reading the paper, Lilac achieved a Michelin star over the weekend. So we're very proud of them. I'll be there at dinner tonight seeing Josh Worksman, who's our executive chef. So it's pretty cool. And the food there is phenomenal. So a little bit of an endorsement for all those watching. So go check out Water Street. I mean, the food, Wagamama. I mean, we have something for everybody. Great coffees, everything.
Yeah, I know you initially said you don't have something for everybody, but I don't think that's true from what you're, telling me right now.
And one more thing. So again, healthier, and this gets back to well and nutrition. Greenwise is a 20,000 square foot grocer, which has really good fresh ingredients for even for lunch or to purchase if you're shopping for dinner. So great option.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to ask another question. So what features of Well has Strategic Property Partners implemented throughout the neighborhood?
Oh boy. So we do have water filling stations, Ray-Ban Plaza. So that's the plaza in between USF Medical. Oh, and by the way, I'm digress again. Having USF Medical in our district, Jeff Vinnick knew it was important to have a educational anchor within our district. And that's exactly what we got. So Jeff donated the land to USF Medical. And here we have an incredible medical school right at Water Street. So at full capacity, I think it's 18 to 1900 doctors, researchers, professors, medical students, et cetera, that are in our community here. And that's incredible. So that's a big part of what we're very proud about, is having an educational anchor, but being a medical school. The Heart Institute, I think there are pharmacy colleges in there and so forth.
They used to be, I mean, it's mostly down there now, right? Because a lot of it was over by Moffitt, right?
So here's what happened. So when it was announced 4 or 5 years ago that USF Medical was moving to Water Street, what I'm told is that their enrollment went up by close to 30%. Because they understood being in a suburban campus versus in an urban environment, that I think it's attracted a lot more. I think it's helped them in really attracting talent like professors and so forth.
So on a personal note, I was thinking of going there. And I think that was one big reason I did not want to, because you had to live in one spot for
Yeah.
like 2 years or fight traffic and then move to another. So I feel like even in my own life, had I chosen to go there for that or residency, like I might have made a different decision, I think, if it was at Water Street. I can definitely believe that it went up 30%. That's
And it's a
impressive.
game changer. It's, I think, a game changer for the students because they can live within Water Street or they can live in the Channel District. I mean, there's so many opportunities. And of course, they can shop at the Greenwise and, they can live, work, and play in a great mixed use environment. So anyways, back to your question. So what features do we have? So Raybon Plaza would be open space. So when you talk about movement, we also have Sparkman Wharf. So I talked about the yoga and so forth. Let's see, community would be the farmers market, right? That I already talked about. Biophilic design. So 1001 is our office building. We hired Cook Fox. Their core design business is biophilic design, which means design in touch with nature. So that's a big part of what we've implemented. So the list goes on and on. I won't cover them all, but Dr. Reller, we've done, I think, a really good job of creating a very diverse environment that embraces all of the well requirements. So the building is well certified. It's a gold level. So LEED, you've heard about leadership in energy efficiency design, LEED, that's about the built environment. Well is about the people environment. So we are well certified gold, and you can be gold, silver, bronze, I believe. So we've achieved a very high level of gold. And that certification doesn't come without some work. So every 2 years, we have to test for air, light, water, all those things go into maintaining. You have a scorecard. And in order to maintain that certification, which I think gets tested every 2 years, that once that testing is done, provided we maintain that level of those requirements, then we maintain our well certification.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the next question goes to like 1001 is also well certified for core and shell. I don't know if you answered that, but what does that mean? You mentioned core.
Core and shell just means the building itself.
Okay.
Meaning it means the building overall, including the lobby, the common areas overall. So it's well certified core and shell. The well certification for the community is everything that's gone into our well community, meaning the neighborhood.
So as far as the building, what does that mean for the office tenants? Have you seen like a higher interest in being employed at the building because of that?
Oh yeah. So this is during COVID, and I'm with a large tech company out of Chicago. I mean, it's a Fortune 100, and this is the head of HR out of Chicago. So we gave her a presentation in our marketing center, and all she wanted to talk about was well, because she knew that if they move here and they move into Water Street, that they could use our development and the well certification as a hook to hire. So it would enable her to recruit and retain talent, which is very important. And that narrative has been driven with so many of the office tenants that have come to the building. We have 2 office buildings. We have one at Sparkman Wharf, which is my office here, and we have 1001 where your brother is. And we are 100% leased here. We're 85% leased at 1001. Much of our success was driven post-COVID by driving this narrative of wellness and explaining to people what it means and the opportunity to live and work in a much healthier environment. And it has been an extraordinary success for us. Now, we're starting to plan phase 2, and we'll incorporate some of these same design issues. We're going to look at those into the next office building and the residents and so forth. So the return on investment, it's kind of hard to calculate, but we've had great success as a result of well. And your next question, well, how did we get there? So Delos, I know Jeff had an interest in Delos 6-7 years ago, and Delos was a company that was focused on well. Their CEO, who I've met a couple times and been on a panel with, so from Delos, he created IWBI, which is the International Well Building Institute, which is which basically is the accreditation organization that has created well. So they knew, Jeff and team knew then that they wanted to do something different. And it's really, that's why I say it's Jeff's vision. And it's extraordinary that they had the vision then to think about how this could impact the real estate today, not even knowing COVID would happen. But, and I'm very careful to say this, COVID is an inflection point for many people in their lives. I will never say COVID was good for our development, but they are living a healthier or a different lifestyle, if you will. And it's been the same for us. It's taught us to think differently about our development and the impact it can have on lives relative to that healthier live, work, play environment.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering if the features of air quality in COVID had anything to do with drawing people in.
100%. So on a typical building, you'll have what's called a MERV 8 filter. So it filters out particulates, but not to a high degree. So we've pivoted as part of WELL to utilizing MERV 13. And those are similar. So in your hospital, you probably have MERV 13 filters. So we are using a filtration system, which is similar to what you would find in healthcare facilities. So that meant for people that are concerned about COVID or were, that this is a healthier building, and the even floors on the office building, there's small terraces so you can get to outdoor air. You can allow outdoor air to come in, and there's more fresh air in our building versus a typical building like you would see downtown. So these things come at a cost. I mean, they're not cheap, but we knew that it would resonate with the general public by offering, again, a healthier work environment. And now with COVID in the rearview mirror, hopefully soon, is something that other developers and owners throughout the US are embracing.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it's also helping get people back into the work rather than always trying to do this work from home.
The head of HR, she was going to use this as a recruiting effort and an opportunity to really keep employees long term, knowing that they're in a much healthier environment. And there are a lot of old buildings around Tampa that I'm sure these are very outdated. Maybe the owners are not even changing the filters. So, it's something that a savvy, either a person that's looking at an apartment building or condominium or an office building, they should ask those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned phases, but when will Water Street Tampa be fully WELL certified?
We are. Okay. Well, we are gold level certified for core and shell, and then we received our WELL certification, I believe, for community, or we're still pre-certified. I'll have to double check when we get our certification for the neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're close.
Okay, cool. I have one imagine if thing, if you'll walk me through this.
Sure.
So take me through the day of a person working and living on Water Street in the neighborhood and how it impacts their health and wellness.
So I'm going to start with one word. It's accessibility. And the accessibility means that for anybody living here, let's just say by way of example, you've got a little bit of a cough, you're a little bit worried. So the accessibility means that you can go down at USF Medical. There's an urgent care facility right there at the corner. So maybe it's two words. It's opportunity and accessibility. So from that standpoint, there's very accessible healthcare. The needs of healthcare are addressed right there in Water Street, in the district itself. Nourishment, we talked about. There is an abundance of opportunity, whether it's going to the Greenwise for grabbing breakfast or just shopping for dinner or eating lunch. I eat lunch there quite a bit. The salad bar there is just, again, there's many healthy opportunities there. There's diversity of food, which we talked about. It's a walkable environment, so you don't need a car. My son is a good example that if you live and work here, you don't need a car. So from a health standpoint, you are probably riding bike more than you were before because you're not in your car. You don't need a car. You're walking. You can walk. You can walk to a game at Amalie. You can walk to a concert. You can walk to Armature Works. You can get on the Riverwalk. It's 2.5 miles it's a great walk on a weekend. So from a fitness standpoint, we offer, we offer Crunch, F45, Orange Theory. So I like to call it multiple curated health opportunities within our district. In addition to that, we have a fitness facility in each one of the office buildings or the apartment buildings. Nightlife, just entertain is fun because, as I said, we've just walked Water Street at night. It's safe. Oh, I'm going to get to one more. This is really important. Safety and security. I will tell you, when folks come in from Chicago, which they do quite a bit, or New York or Boston or LA or San Francisco, this is a pretty safe environment. I would say it's a very safe, not pretty, I'd say it's a very safe environment here. So when you walk Water Street at night, it's not like you're the only person on the sidewalk. There are a lot of people walking around, whether they're walking a dog or they're going to see a friend or going to a restaurant. So safety and security is abundant.
Yeah, that's absolutely important. And I knew it was one of the parameters of being WELL certified neighborhood as well, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. You mentioned air and water. Is there like a noise quality thing or anything like that?
No, but not to get too technical, but the type of fenestration or the glass that goes into our apartments in our office buildings are such that there's never a worry about noise pollution creeping in. That's a sensitivity that went into this. On the rooftop of the office building, there's beautiful outdoor terrace space, and we don't have chillers up there because they're district cooling, but there's other infrastructure for HVAC. And we were sensitive to the noise that was being emitted. So we put up what are called sound curtains so that we can mitigate the noise that could affect the people that are on the terrace. So, I mean, we're always sensitive to those things. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think you've told us about all the different qualities that go into becoming a well-certified neighborhood, and obviously for the building as well. And I mean, is there anything else that you want to say or anything else you left out?
So I'll say that the channel side, not in our development, but we reduced channel sides 2 lanes, and you have to go slow down Water Street. Now we don't have speed bumps or anything like that, but it's traffic controlled, if you will, and that's important because you don't want people speeding through, and that makes a lot of noise. But it's also a safety and security issue because there's so many people on the street. Offering bike lanes, so we have, if you come over Meridian and you go north, we'll have the Meridian Greenway, which will be a bike lane that will connect us with Gasworks and ultimately Ybor Harbor and Gasworks, so that ultimately, if the Riverwalk gets extended through the port by the aquarium and on or up around, we'll have great connectivity between Ybor, Gasworks, Ybor Harbor, the Channel District, Water Street, around, and all the way around up to Armature Works. So, biking is important. Scooters are cool. I mean, people use scooters all the time. I mean, it's so different today than it was 5 years ago when I got here. And we're proud of what we've done, but people just love coming down here and celebrating just a very different lifestyle.
Yeah. I think one thing you might have not mentioned as much, you mentioned yoga, but like just the ability to be outside in a more comfortable environment is so good for the mental health as well.
So my whole career was in DC, 32 years, and then coming here, I'm so much healthier here. So much healthier. I mean, I walk, I swim, I play tennis, and I eat better as a result. So I think the lifestyle here is very different than in gateway markets or other markets per se, but it's been for me and my family where my wife is pickleball queen and she loves that, but it is a much healthier lifestyle for my family and we love it as a result. So,
yeah. And one more thing is, this is like a very healthy environment. And sometimes when I'm working with maybe my weight management patients and things like that, we focus on changing the environment of what they're in, right? If you're exposing yourself to toxic foods or not moving as much or too much TV, like those kind of things, like changing what you're surrounded by is so important into leading a healthier life. And I think that's what you've created with this community at Water Street as well. So, I mean, I think if anybody hasn't checked it out yet, they obviously need to go do that. Yeah.
Well,
anything? Go ahead.
Well, no. So I said the 2 words, opportunity and accessibility. I mean, I think that's kind of the theme for wellness because we've cast a very wide net as far as what the opportunity is here. Whether you want to live here, you want to work here, you want to dine, play, entertain, go to concerts, etc. But accessibility and everything is accessible. And I love the diversity of our community. I mean, it's a great diverse environment and we celebrate that. But again, opportunity and accessibility are key themes to what we're doing here. And what we're going to do into the future is we learned from phase 1 and we're going to take those learnings into phase 2 and make it even better. And then we'll have phase 3. So we have quite a few more years. We're a little more than halfway done, believe it or not.
Anything you want to mention that's up for phase 2 or 3?
It's going to be a smaller version. Phase 1 is huge. It's over 5.2 million square feet. So we wanted to have a critical mass of the different asset classes and build them all. It's called cluster development. So you build it all at once, because you don't want to be living through a construction zone, right? So we did a cluster of that. And then on the perimeter, we'll continue to build north and around us so that it feels complete. And you're not living through a construction zone. So that's going to be important for the future. We're building more retail, more office, more apartments, more condos, hotel, entertainment zone, so forth. So there's a lot more that is certainly in the works.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see what comes of it. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners today?
No, I really appreciate this opportunity. I mean, education is the most important thing, and we want to educate the general public on what we're doing here. As I said, Tampa is kind of in my opinion, we're in the 3rd inning of our growth, and we continue to have this trajectory of growth and success. in spite of economic headwinds and a pandemic and so forth. And this is kind of Tampa's time. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be here at this time. It would have been different if it were 10 years ago. None of this would be happening. But that's what I said. It's timing, it's vision, and capital. And those three, the confluence of those three things have come together very nicely for us. So I really appreciate being able to do this. And you have to come down and I'll buy you a healthy lunch.
Absolutely.
Water Street.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, taking time out of your busy day. We really appreciate it. And I mean, everybody, I think will be running down to Water Street after listening to this. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.